What's up, y'all? It's the SOGcast, episode 2. I'm here with the art lead, Tubbs, the
Howdy.
programming lead, Bandit,
Howdy.
the project manager and miscellaneous ideal guy, Astraeus.
Howdy.
I'm with the writing lead, Rastapopoulos.
Howdy.
Hi, good. And with our programming slave, nobodywasishere.
Hello there.
And our special guest, Caldwell Tanner.
Howdy! Very nice to be here.
What do you do?
I similarly do a lot of different things. Most recently, I was a storyboard artist on Disney's Big City Greens. Currently, I am a podcaster for the D&D actual play show, Not Another D&D Podcast, which you can find at nadpod.com or patreon.com/nadpod. And yeah, I'm basically an artist and a podcaster, I guess is how I would describe myself.
That's pretty great. One specific piece of art that has a lot of significance to our tale and journey was, of course, the initial Sea of Greed art. And so, of course, we do have a few questions and general gaps to fill in, because it's weird spending 3 years of all of our collective lives on very loosely based off of this piece of concept art
Sorry
that we know
for
nothing
that,
about.
I guess.
Oh, it is
No,
okay.
Thank you.
We got so
This
much
is the
exposure.
best thing that's ever
dude.
happened to me.
Aw.
Us too, man. It's been a great experience. I mean, it's not like the art did that entirely, but it's very clear that there was something there.
Well, I'm extremely flattered to have been the seed for this incredibly cool project, and y'all have taken it and ran and made such a cool thing that looks amazing, and I can't wait to play it. It's so cool and very inspiring, and yeah, I'm happy to talk more about it.
Well, it's also very inspired, I guess. Very very interesting general, I guess, dream. I assume you don't remember a ton about it, because I don't really remember a ton about the starting process. But if you do, or at least know more context about it than was able to fit in the tweet.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it was an actual dream I had. I think it was, like most dreams, just kind of a cliche reassembling of things you'd been thinking about during the day.
Right.
I think there had maybe been a Nintendo Direct recently, and then that game Sea of Thieves was out, so my brain just mashed those two together into a open world Wind Waker style game where you play as Waluigi, and you're just kind of going around messing up other people's boats, I guess, and stealing their coins and whatnot. And that's basically all I remember. And then I think it was one of those dreams. I don't know how your brains work. Mine is kind of shit when it comes to nighttime rememberings and whatnot. So I just had a very solid image in my head that I awoke with, which was that box art of Waluigi on this dark sea, kind of looking out into the vast expanse of the ocean. And yeah, it was just kind of I was working on this Disney show at the time, and I think it was a Monday, and I didn't want to do work yet, so I just started sketching this box art for this fake video game, and then it kind of spread from there.
Yeah, and so of course from there, how I actually found it was from, I believe Ross O'Donovan from Game Grumps at the time either retweeted it or said something about it. Fellow illustrator, who also always tends to bring people together for some weird reason. And so
there's definitely a Ross web.
There is a Ross web. It's very interesting. That's how honestly, Game Grumps is a thing now. I've always idolized those guys, and so anything that they found interesting, I was definitely gonna pick up on. So when I'd seen that, I'm sure you felt similar stuff about seeing something and seeing potential in it. I was like, this is going to be something that people are talking about soon.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah,
in general, with concepts in general. Investment, almost.
For sure. And you see something whether it is just a single piece of art or I don't know, concept art for a game or something like that, whether it exists or not, you can sometimes feel like potential radiating off of it. It feels weird to say that about something I made, but like I'm glad that you felt that way.
Yeah, well, it's like something like that. It's like, oh, and seeing how people initially reacted to it, I guess. You do have sort of a blindness yourself about that in general, I'd say. Because I feel the same thing about the project as it is now. I don't really have a good sense of it. But I did at the time because it wasn't really my thing. But it was like, I was like, who the hell is this guy? So, and I'm like, oh, I've seen your stuff. I love Dinosaur Office. You know?
Oh my goodness, thank you. Dinosaur Office is honestly one of the best and most pure things I think I'll ever make. It's just like a beautiful standalone work. So like it really means a lot that you bring that up.
Well, it was just on the IMDb page, but like it was one of the most pure things I've ever seen. Well, I mean, it was just like on the 3DS video app or whatever. So
yeah,
before I had access to YouTube.
Oh yeah, it was very weird. My board partner at my old job like brought that up to me when she started working on the show. She was like, "Oh yeah, my little brother and I would watch Dinosaur Office on a 3DS like back in the day," and she's like, "Oh cool. That's
make you feel
like
old."
Yeah, like a whole generation of people coming up on these dumb dinosaurs. But like, it's really, I don't know, that's awesome. So yeah, good to know.
Well,
good to know you're a fan.
Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, I'd looked into it and I was like, okay, clearly you have better stuff to do than make this, but I don't. I was like 15 at the time, by the way.
Goodness, really?
Yeah, I'm 18 right now. So that was 3 years ago.
Wow. Happy birthday.
Thank you. You might be as far off as possible from that, but
I got to make up for like several birthdays apparently.
That's true. I will be expecting one the rest of my life.
Shit, do you ever just walk down the street and like see all the people that you've never wished happy birthday to, and you're just like think about all the work you've got to do in your life?
It makes me want to die. Crippling anxiety. It's so much work.
That's anxiety right there, folks.
That's millions of hours of talking. Okay, well, you know, from there, the rest is kind of history. I don't know. I'm sure we've talked about it before, but found a lot of the people who are here now were there on the first couple of days, but it was just a process of initial fan game hype that normally dies off, but luckily just chips fell in a really good way and we found a lot of amazing people. Early on, the game was made in visual coding language Construct 2 that I was developing in. Really awful. I was very young and dumb, and it looks so much different now, and now it's going to take a billion times more time, just in general, because it's scope creep and stuff like that. But
oh sure.
But one thing that we've kept in mind the whole time was that central, you know, idea in the picture. But we did, I guess one thing I'd like to fill you in on is that within the first few days we had a guy that was working on the game a little bit who was from an unnamed AAA game studio, and he wouldn't tell us which one. Well, I mean, he left within like 4 days. It was not like a big flex or anything, but he did say he's like, I work in the legal side of stuff, and if it was my company, we'd already have a file on you, and if you guys keep going, we'd probably send a C&D within the next few days because of the initial hype. So that was very scary and sobering. So that's one of many legal issues we've had to navigate through. I don't know if we can name them. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. I just want to make a dumb pirate game. But so that's that was the motivation behind making it its own thing.
I think that was a very smart idea. Like you have like this touchstone of a character, and then you kind of like use that as your jumping off point, and like you've made it into like Wally Gladstone, which is its own thing. And like you have so much more ability to make it your own and like to make it fun and like, you know, put your own kind of style and signature on it. And I think that's a great idea. So I think like, I don't know, even from the very beginning, it's been very awesome watching y'all spin this out into its own thing and like make it your own and like put your own flavor and stink on it. So like, yeah, it's very cool.
Well, in terms of
besides the stink,
absolutely. And I guess in terms of like intertextuality and fan base overlap and stuff like that, you sort of have to get your foot in the door on an existing thing somehow, or have some tie into it. So, but using almost legal issues as not an excuse, but turning it around is a good thing. I did sort of want to create my own, I wouldn't say studio, but at least community and talent pool in a way based off of this. So I did sort of hijack your thing. So I'd like to partially apologize and also
moral of the story.
Oh, sure. I think if I recall, I mean, you came forward and like asked permission as well. So like,
I might have asked for forgiveness.
They're intertwined indeed.
Yeah, but it's, I mean,
so I mean, I guess like now we can discuss my cut of all the profits you've made from the game.
Absolutely, 100%, which we all also get.
Yeah, you can have all of our profit.
You can get a million times what I made. You can get a million times.
Mine.
I mean, I don't know if you want this exposure. I'm kind of using it to buy food right now.
I guess just send me, if you buy grapes, send me one grape.
You know what? I'll send you one grape. You can tell me happy birthday.
I'm sorry, that's just Hollywood. That's how it works.
That is.
You gotta send me the grapes.
Just like one grape in an envelope, just squish it and mail it.
Oh, you squish the grape. That's gonna cost you 2 grapes right there.
Oh God, what if I squish those? It's gonna be exponential, isn't it?
So yeah, then you gotta invest in like a grape crate, and then like the grape crate's gonna cost you at least 1 bundle, and then like you're really in debt from there. So like you got to be careful with this stuff. Just some words of advice to you.
Great debt. Oh God.
So I should send the grape in a box.
You're gonna want again a special grape crate. It can't just be any box because you don't want the grape getting bruised.
What about like a gyroscopic grape crate?
Now you're talking. Have you considered pivoting from video games into grape distribution?
Like Loot Crate.
Why the lemonade stand can't have any grapes?
Exactly.
The new subscription service from Gladstone Games. Grape Crate.
See, that's the thing about Loot Crate is you just get a bunch of plastic shit you don't need. But Grape Crate, that's just grapes.
That's a few calories.
You just get grapes.
You just get grapes.
You just gobble them down.
There's a grape shot joke here somewhere. I don't want to make it. So I need to get this boat back on track, yo.
That's a deep. I'm so sorry.
Great color.
You know what? Boat. I welcome this though.
The money situation was actually a conversation that has come up quite a few times,
especially early on too. I got hellfire rained down upon me by saying I was considering selling it. Rained down upon me within the first few weeks, and I was like, well, I might need to eat at some point, but they're like, no, you can't. So I mean, it's also hard with the credit situation and how many people are actually involved in this thing, getting equal pay or proportional pay to people out. It's just, I don't want to even have to deal with it. Save that for future projects, I guess, you know. And so as a result, you know what? I'll send you a grape if you want it. You're entitled to a grape.
No, you know you can. I'm doing this ad gratis, so no need.
I hate you. All
no
right.
grapes needed.
So I'm looking at the.
Just halfway through the video, we're going to sponsor Caldwell brand steaks, so don't worry about it.
God. All right. Grapes aside. I'm looking at the concept art right now. It's been a while since I've actually looked at it. But you mean, so you had sort of the idea of this dream, right, with like the Wind Waker-y vibe. Yeah. When you drew that, did you have that like constantly in your mind, and did you want to express that almost gameplay wise? You know?
Yeah, I think so. I think that I'm trying to remember like the era that this came out. It was like early on when like I believe like the Switch had either just come out.
It was July 2017.
It was like 6 months or so after.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 or 4 months actually. It wasn't that long.
Yeah, we had a 3-year anniversary like a month ago.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. It is hard to recall, but I do think that like the Wind Waker remake for like the Wii U had also come out recently, or like at least like within that year, I think. I could be totally wrong, but like for whatever reason, I think it's just one of those games that's kind of constantly on my mind.
Yeah, us too, for sure, especially during this. And so what I mean by that is just like we sort of had to reverse engineer this thing
for sure
a little bit, and so we've had I guess to share that vision a little bit, and we've looked to Wind Waker a lot, as well as a few others, but. What specifically about Wind Waker? Because you said you were thinking that was on your mind.
Yeah, I think it was just like that like open world, like that faux open world vibe is something I really liked, where it's big but not infinite, and there's like always kind of like something discoverable without feeling overwhelming.
It's a very hard line to like walk, but
definitely, yeah.
We've tried to do that. I don't know if anyone can specifically talk about that. That I don't know what jurisdiction that falls into, whether it's programming or game design. But I know someone else would know more about this than me. Just in general, the game structure and how that's changed over time.
We were originally gonna have it be like extremely open world, where like you could do the main islands in any order you want. But now they're sort of like in a linear way, but you can still like go to different places, but you just can't progress the story out of order.
Gotcha.
It's almost like getting to that full linear state just based off of like the reason why it was made in that way. Probably Wind Waker is probably the same reason why we made it that way. It's like, oh, these are the technical issues, these are, or a bunch of other game design problems. I wonder if Bandit could speak to that as well.
It's far easier to make the story flow better with a linear kind of fashion to it anyway.
That was true. We initially had it like 7 islands in a Mega Man style thing, where you'd go to an island and then complete a self-contained story.
I think that before I stepped in as writing lead for a little bit, there was that notion to kind of move towards more of the linear story where you go from the first island to the second island rather than, oh, well, I get to choose which island I go to next. Because if you don't have the story progress from island to island properly, then it's just, you have a bunch of random islands to go to and you pick up the stories as you go rather than having like an actual like plot line as you progress.
It went from being like a creativity inspiring challenge to a really inhibiting challenge, as I remember. I don't know if anyone else can speak on that. Probably Rasta would.
To write for.
Yeah.
Because if Caldwell hasn't noticed, we have partner characters where we're kind of taking inspiration from Paper Mario here, and having those characters with you is basically like dialogue to go with you, and not knowing like what order whatever player has gotten them in, it just kind of stunted what we were able to do with them because we ended up leaving them out for half of the dialogue of the story because we didn't know, oh, well, has the player unlocked them yet? Don't know.
It becomes like a big, massive flowchart, I imagine.
Yeah, pretty much. So
and
we're having it more linear. Oh, you specifically get this guy at this island or this girl over here, and you at least know, okay, they're always going to be present for this scene, and they're always going to be able to talk.
Yeah,
it's really
ultimately made it more difficult to develop their character if we had the islands just pick and go as you.
Especially for Marmalade, because she was more like tangential to the main story previously.
Yeah.
And yeah, as it's gone on.
Our original draft.
Yeah, as it's gone on, she's become more entwined. Yeah, and so I guess one thing also is getting away from an existing universe lets you characterize and create these new. You can develop a character and then create foils for that character without having to stay true to the source material in a way. And so that was something that we had to do pretty early on. And I think that's really benefited us. But then also switching to this style, I think it stays in line with that almost linear vibe. And so I think we wound up back where we started in a way, which is kind of cool with the Wind Waker vibe. I guess Sea of Thieves also was in the public lexicon a lot because it was like the first Rare game after a while, I'd imagine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I think that was definitely like what I had in the back of my head, because I think that like I had seen like a lot of like videos of people playing that. The game was like super hot for like a couple weeks or so, and it was like kind of like everybody's feed was just people doing like pirate shit. So it was like in the back of my mind. But I don't know. I just like the look of this game is so unique, and like I don't think I even knew about the Paper Mario like sidekick system, but that's like so fun. Y'all are pulling from like such fun areas for this game, and it's like really it's just really cool seeing it come together.
Thank you. And I think we're just trying to stay as inspired as possible. And it's kind of hard to stay on one thing so long like this, but I guess we did have that initial hype, and I guess it was kind of the same thing, because it seems like this might be something similar that you do a lot. I mean, I know we had a Dorkly article written about us. I don't know if you saw it, but it was you were mentioned pretty heavily in the beginning.
Oh yeah, I think it was my friend Bridgman put that together.
Cool dude, by the way.
Oh, great guy.
And he mentioned
one of the net's best.
Yes, I agree. As are you personally, in my opinion, but
shucks.
Thank you. But he said, you know, this was sort of a continuing thing. Like, this wasn't necessarily out of character. The fact that you would just like spawn off a project from a dream or something similar, and in a group of similarly creative people, I would imagine that we'd understand if you talk more about your experience with I don't know, more spontaneous idea generation and joining into projects, stuff like that. Like, is this a type of thing where you do you have experience like spreading yourself too thin? Or anything
certainly.
Like that?
Spreading myself too thin, biting off more than I can chew, just kind of always existing between those points of of overwork. I
get
guess,
it, dude.
Is where I like to live. Yeah, I think honestly, this drawing that I did initially was kind of just a stress relief tool almost, where I was like, and that was kind of like what my Twitter was at that point in time. I've gotten a little busier, so it's shifted its tone a little bit. But back then, I feel like I was just like working a lot and needed just like this outlet to kind of like shunt off ideas that I knew I couldn't really do anything with. So it's just like, well, I can't do anything with it. I'm just gonna like put it here. It's like, you know, did we lose someone?
I think we lost someone, but I think it's all good.
Okay, cool. It's just like, you know, when a drill just produces kind of like a slurry as a result of working too much.
Right. Oh, for sure.
You just need a slurry pile for your ideas that you can't do anything.
And I guess one man's slurry pile is another man's 3-year-long career.
Well, here's the thing about the slurry pile is sometimes there will be little gemstones and flecks of gold hidden in that slurry. So that's why you always got to check the slurry. Always got to check the slurry pile.
I, for one, always check the slurry.
It's funny that you mentioned gemstones, because our idea for the thumbnail of this was going to be you with an infinity gauntlet as Thanos, of course, with us as all the gems.
I think I've got the chin for it, I think. So it won't take too much Photoshop.
Josh Brolin. Yeah. We're trying to do Sean Evans level, maybe not Nardwar level, but Sean Evans level research for this. But
is it true that your first name is Hugh?
It is true.
It is true. Hugh
is true.
Hugh is true.
Is it also true that you think that that's not a real first name?
It's not a word. It's an adjective to describe colors. That's what it is.
Oh yeah. I mean,
what about like?
It's a noun at best.
Hubert. Oh.
I wish. I'm not that fancy. I'm not a Fire Emblem character.
Yeah, let's just name him Hugh.
I guess Tanner is a word to describe colors as well, though.
That's true. Yeah, it's like, you know, I got a noun and whatever the fuck Caldwell is, and then a verb, an adjective right there, or an adverb there at the end.
Didn't expect to go through your entire name and psychoanalyze it, but you could say like tan is tanner than blue. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. And then actually, my little profile here on Discord, the color that it has chosen for me is tan. So there we go. It seems faded.
It's cool as hell.
It's all connected.
I would love to ask a little more, if you don't mind, about like how. I'm so sorry.
No. We have actually run out of ideas, and this is perfect.
We're just at drill in the slurry right now.
No, we are pleasantly surprised.
Let's get through that slurry. Let's slurp up that slurry and see if there's any more veins underneath it.
You have the floor, slurry man.
Yeah, you can keep it.
I just want to hear from y'all about like how this game design has been. Like it's been like such a long process, but y'all have like stuck with it and have made such a cool thing as a result. And I want to know, like, I guess just if you have any like unique challenges you've encountered, or like what like kind of like the coolest discoveries, if there's been any kind of like lightning moments you've had where it's kind of like opened up or changed the way that the game has come out. I would love to hear more just about like how this like beautiful journey and like what, you know, kind of the highlights from it.
I guess I'll start. Start was we initially I made a MeIRL post on Reddit, and it hit the front page because I think you hit the front page like 3 times that day actually with like that was an initial your post in general was posted like twice with just people talking about it, and then luckily when I made it, it was at the perfect timing. I was actually talking to our applications manager is one of my friends that I've known for a while, and I was like, I think I'm gonna. Well, he had recently gotten a lot of karma, and I was trying to race him with it. So I'm like, I'm gonna post something that will get me more Reddit karma because I'm vain and dumb. So I posted that. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna make this, and I wanted to. I've been making games for a while, but it was yeah, it was a little vain.
I just really love to know like how petty the origins of this were.
I mean, it was pretty petty, yeah. But I was like, this is cool as hell, and I'm gonna make it, and it's gonna be great, and it's gonna be finished in a month, and it's going to be Game of the Year 2017. And
wait, so grand. Yes. You're saying this whole project is built on greed?
Yes.
There it is.
There you go. I saved it.
Full circle.
That's a thesis statement, if ever there was one.
I guess for karma, which has no meaning.
Spare Reddit karma, man.
Does money have any meaning? But then it got way bigger than I anticipated. I mean, it wasn't huge, but it was way bigger than I anticipated. And so we created an initial Discord, which got just overrun, and this is probably where most like fan game projects die, but we decided, we had a few people that were like actually legit people come in and were like, hey, you should probably do this, and so I did, and a lot of those people have stuck around and a lot of them haven't, and so I guess that's one thing. Also, there's been a huge turnover rate as well, and I think after this we'll get into like each individual team, I guess, if you want to know that stuff. Rasta just posted something that I'll get into later, but everyone who's on the team is laughing at that. But yeah, I guess you can't talk about turnover rate without talking about Rev Left. We did have I forgot, was he one of the old programming leads, writing leads?
He was the game design lead.
Game design lead. Okay, lead. Yeah. So we had one, and he posted something. How long after the project was created?
That was in September.
So that was like a few months afterwards. He's like, this isn't enough for like, can someone find the text, please?
That was the month I started. I came on as a programmer, but I eventually just moved around and helped with everything because I don't know, I get antsy and want to give ideas everywhere. But I think he got fed up with the progress and the lack of such progress. He expected the game to be almost complete by September, and on a volunteer basis.
It was very helpful though. After he left, we made the team leaders.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I think so. At least I think we made it more involved, and we've had a bunch of stuff like that. A lot of rises and falls in general.
Sure.
It's definitely
You're telling
a
me you've had
thing.
drama on your Discord.
Oh, there has been a good amount of drama, I'd imagine. But getting past that stuff has been a huge key. Like all of us, I think, get along really well now.
A lot of heated arguments about gloves for some reason.
That was true. We had an argument about we had an argument about whether it was top down or a 3/4 view, and that was
and then we overruled
war. Yeah, I got overruled, but I accepted it because that was a dumb decision.
That's gracious, yeah.
I mean, it'd probably be done by now if it was top down, but it would also not be
Here we go again.
at all popular. This is year-long wounds that have already healed that are getting ripped open again by.
I mean, it does seem like this
people.
entire process has been like an incredible like learning experience
And I
above
learned,
everything
yeah.
else. Just like because there's so many as you've learned. I mean, like when you put together a team, when you make something like this, there's so many other things besides like knowing how to code that you have to learn, like
Right.
just like team structure and like management and stuff like that. And y'all
Yeah.
have pulled through.
Yeah, I'd say just by pure masochism, and and one thing I've been thinking about recently also is like I don't know, Kanye's been on my mind a lot, and
Sure.
that's a guy that tries to do everything, and he mostly does, but the one thing he couldn't do, and he tried to make a game and he couldn't because it's hard.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I think it was only one. It was
Kanye?
about his mom. Yeah, and I think a lot of other people have tried to make games that aren't game developers and don't have that background, and it's not something you can just do like I don't know, fashion or something. Like
Yeah.
it will very easily fall apart because it's a nightmare to code and stuff like that unless you've made 1,000 games before.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Honestly,
had a background, but I have nothing compared to the people who are really driving it now, which are these wonderful people.
it's interesting because like I guess not too long after we started this project, there was a bunch of people on the team at one point, like 60, 70 people working on this.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you balance all of those voices? Like, how do you?
You don't.
know, everybody's got a different idea to bring to the table, and it's great. Like that's amazing. It's just
What
how
that
do
did
you
for
keep
scope though.
free?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It kept ballooning and everyone wanted to put their idea into the game, and so we had to learn to say no, I'd say. And that was a huge part of it.
Yeah.
And
It was definitely learning that balance.
I guess that ties into being really scattered creatively, because we were doing that also within the game. You know, everyone's idea of what the game was going to be is entirely different, and everyone
you
wanted.
kind of had like a big like anarcho-socialist compound of game developers, it seems.
Yeah, I guess on Discord. So they're also furries. I don't know if we have we definitely have furries in the public Discord, but I don't know if we have one on the private. I got drawn as my profile picture the other day. First time I ever had fan art of me.
Wow.
Keith Haring
Grant
dog.
is in
Congrats.
fact Keith Haring.
I'm the Keith Haring dog apparently. So
Very inspiring.
That's
Yeah.
really big for you, man.
I'm a furry now apparently. So
Not just
I'm
any
for it.
furry, Keith Haring furry.
Man, y'all, that would be so cool to see at a convention, though. A Keith Haring furry, it's like a geometric like
Geometric.
furry with the thick black
with a
lines,
stroke.
Cubist art.
like doing the pose and
Oh,
like
yeah.
the little lines barking out of the mouth.
Yeah, with the
Oh, that would
pharaoh
make my day.
pose. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
we, we have a note on the pointers document we have, and it says from there it's pretty much wherever we're taken, and this is it. We're talking about Keith Haring furries. Yeah, this was the one. This is I guess
Wait,
Nintendo
Grant,
lawyers. Yeah.
coincidentally being arrested. Tying back to the
Going back to
Thank you,
before
Rose.
this, when our first introduction to Caldwell Tanner was
Oh, yeah.
furries getting
I crashed
arrested
your
and
Discord.
Big Chungus. Yeah. Well, I mean, you were also invited long ago. Oh, by the way, when we had that
Yeah.
conversation in general, in the general voice chat or text chat, our application manager, the guy who I was trying to upset in Karma, deleted it
Mhm.
because we were posting photos of him as a kid on a Segway. So that conversation's gone to the
Forgot
world now.
about that.
Yeah.
we have a
Months
recreation
of
though.
general chat just disappeared.
Can we see the recreation of that, please?
I'm trying to find Quite's message.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people who were really like influential to the game who were not part of it really anymore. Like Quite, who was
Oh, I miss
British
Clay.
motherfucker. I miss him too.
Aw.
He's online right now, but doing other shit.
I mean, that's the way of it, though. But like, you seem like you've handled it well. Just kind of like taking the knowledge and the inspiration and the wisdom from those folks and incorporating it as best you can.
Yeah, I mean, I guess during this process, I worked in a theater with a really high turnover rate. It's like, that's how they do it. You just keep bringing in new people. There it is. There it is.
Let me switch over. Very.
I remember Grant's old profile pic, that avatar.
I'll explain for the listeners.
This
is
we're gonna
a
show it on screen.
This is a recreation of the general chat, and I guess it's just a picture of me as an egg saying, "You guys fucking suck." I don't remember saying that, but
I
it's
don't
right here in this
think
drawing.
you did.
I believe this is pretty accurate.
No, that
This
happened
is a
at some
courtroom
point. We all
sketch.
just forgot about it.
I will
feel
say
like
there's no. I want to thank you very much for the privilege of like inviting me to this Discord, which I have access to at all times, but I haven't really been checking in
Yeah,
on. But
you
like,
also have
getting
the
to
highest
just, like-
rank too. You're able to delete the whole thing if you
Wow.
wanted to.
Shut up.
Such power. You've given me. This is good. This is my Superman moment where I could destroy everything. But you know what?
I'm
I
giving you a
believe,
god complex. Yeah.
Or you
I
could be
believe
like
this
He's gonna
is
Tanner.
snap the
justice.
Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh my God. Remove half the people. Oh god. Really,
Guys,
you
we
can do
haven't
whatever I
backed
want
up
it
in
to
like
be.
3 months.
Oh, we haven't. Oh god. Well, I mean, we have
I
GitHub.
promise.
I guess you don't have access to the GitHub. How are you gonna
But
see our furry art now?
how will I see furry art on the internet? There's no other way.
That's we do
Don't
this.
Google vor.
But like getting to come into like a Discord chat where you were not expected is one of life's greatest thrills. It's just
Oh,
like
man.
getting
Feelings
to see like
mutual, dude.
everyone shit posting and like just dumping their memes and then just to like walk into that unexpected. It's such a joy.
Well, you have a
I feel
certain ethos as well that
Mhm.
that doesn't, which isn't carried for a lot of people, especially on this server. It's like, I don't know, Jesus' second coming being in the middle of an orgy, just like rises up out of the ground. Exactly,
man.
Jesus Christ rises up and he's like, what the hell? Or just a like FurCon or something. Like Jesus Christ is born again in a FurCon bathroom.
That's perfect because no one would know because he'd be wearing a wolf costume.
Is that how furry birth works?
I mean, well, yeah, you have the suit ready, custom made.
For the baby? Does
But
it
I'm
grow
saying-
along with the baby? Very expensive.
I mean,
gotta think about
you
these
got to
things.
get like some kind of like silicone bits that can stretch a little bit, but you're gonna need to switch it out, pretty annually. I think is like the modern knowledge on the subject.
I appreciate you giving your expertise on this.
It's uninformed, but that's
He
how
knows
I
from
like
Is it
firsthand
really though?
experience.
Is it really? As you gain more power, I think you'll learn that most of the people in the tech world and entertainment are all furries, all the higher ups. This is a fact.
It's the true Illuminati for sure.
I do know people who have connections in Facebook, and they've sent me photos of just chilling in a restaurant with a furry. It's very bizarre.
Whoa.
I don't know why
Just like a
we're
dimly
talking
lit
about
restaurant?
this.
That's a beautiful image in my head, though. Just like a dimly lit Italian restaurant, and just like
But,
a
like-
table of furries, and they're all kind of like looking back at you.
And they don't have their masks off, so they just have full plates of food in front of them. It's like the pale man from the Labyrinth. He just does not eat.
I feel like if we don't
Simply
hear from
bad.
Grant anymore, I think I know what happened.
What?
If we don't hear from you anymore, I think I know what happened.
You've been whacked.
Mhm. You pulled on the thread, and it unwove the whole suit.
I figured if you pull on a thread, it'll open the mouth like a hinge, and then you can eat.
Again,
Bite of 87?
It's so stupid.
One day we'll have this technology.
Well, we are fellow kids here. We are with the memes. So rest assured that this game will have references that will become dated within 2 years.
I just walk into the room and ask all my sons if they're winning. It seems like they are.
People are gonna be like, "What the hell was that?" It's like Harambe.
Chokits?
Oh Lord.
The Cincinnati Zoo.
Rick, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be 80 years until this game comes out.
I do think
Funniest
that is
shit
like
you've ever seen.
that's a valuable position that most studios are hiring for now. It's just a meme color. It's just someone to go through like before the game is released and be like, nope, that one's done, that one's old, that one's done, gotta get that out.
They end up cutting every single one.
Is that a Doge meme? What the fuck?
Oh Lord. Oh,
Why is he so buff?
It's just a history book.
I don't know. Doge evolves with the times, though. You can have.
Doge has come back around. It's been very interesting to see.
I agree. How did
It's survival of the fittest.
How did you, Astraeus? How did you do that so quickly? I just looked at.
Do that?
How did you make it into a GIF that quickly? Or did you find that GIF somewhere else, which is way more concerning?
I've had that prepared.
Oh.
really hard about.
I did some research and wrote some bullet points. You made that equally good in their own right.
For the
Sorry,
listeners,
podcast viewers.
seems like we got a animated GIF of just a real chunky Bugs Bunny, a chungus if you will, twerking, and then it's my Gmail icon staring on in awe.
I'm not sure where that came
I like how
from.
this is broken down from legitimate conversation back into.
Well, if we want to talk about like legitimate conversation, like one of my favorite parts about development is when somebody else has a problem, like just a pure mathematical problem, because I'm a fucking nerd. They'll bring it to me and I'll be like, oh crap, I know how to solve this, furiously writing out on paper, and then I give it back to them. It's just that one moment where it's like they give me a problem and then it's like the rush I get from like solving it right then and there. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going into school, so I'm probably gonna have to use your slave abilities for.
It's almost always the
I am
square
personal.
root of 2 as well. I have no idea why.
The answer or the problem?
Yeah, the answer.
Okay, people are coming up to you. What is the square root of 2?
I need to know.
Yeah, everybody.
This is because it's like I don't know what the square root button is on the phone calculator. So if nobody can like do that for me, that's really helpful. Do you have an example of that? Nobody, if I may ask.
So what it was is one of the things with refactoring is we made the game 3D, but just made it 2D, like look like it was 2D.
Ooh.
Like 3D depth.
And
2.5D perhaps.
kind of, but within the game itself, it's actually 3D with just
cool.
2D sprites. And so the mouse position, like turning it around, like wouldn't line up with wherever like Wally was like say shooting a gun, because they were like going off of like 2 different planes or something like that. And so like it's like, how do you get the mouse to always line up with where Wally is shooting, and just that kind of kind of like vector kind of stuff, and it's a bunch of nerd shit, but
Square root of 2.
I thought it was really fun. So yeah, if you just multiply the Y position of the mouse by the square root of 2, it fixes everything.
It's wild.
Do you know why?
And that seems like
I did a bunch of math and I forgot it all now. And
Okay.
it's somewhere in a notebook.
but that seems like such a fun moment, like because that solution seems simple and elegant, but probably getting to that conclusion was extremely hard.
Yeah, it involved a bunch of like writing out like every single like I like drew the side perspective, the front perspective, the top perspective,
Goodness.
bunch of different arrows and stuff, and
I think isn't it like the distance from the cursor to Wally's position, and if you don't use the square root of 2, you can't get the proper distance between the two in order to line everything
something
up.
like that.
Exciting.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
I just wanted to like the rush. The rush, from solving these problems, then everything just comes and fits together.
Yeah,
It's like
It's
I
a
love
Chungus
that.
moment, yeah.
yeah.
Indeed.
Yep. I mean,
So these pictures sort of show.
Yeah, so in the
How it's
chat, there's a
3D.
bunch of pictures showing how the game is. It looks like it's 2D, but it's actually a bunch of 2D sprites in like a 3D grid, if that makes sense.
Like Octopath style, kind of.
I haven't played Octopath.
Sort of like
Octodad?
Octopath, but there's no perspective.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
This
like an Octopath is sort of like you can tell it's 3D, but here it just looks like a flat thing.
and the reason why we did that was for different levels, right? Different z-axis, I guess, right?
Yeah, play with verticality.
Yeah, this is so cool. Yeah, so it gives it like a sense of depth without like making it full 3D.
So if you're imagining like take Pokemon Diamond and remove the
absolutely.
perspective and make everything a sprite.
Whoa, I love. Tubbs just posted this picture of I guess is that like the Unity file with everything flat?
Yeah, that's what it used. Like that's actually the map from the playtest we released. So the playtest was still 2D.
But now
I love seeing the like Unity screens like this where everything is just like it's just like this. It's something you shouldn't be seeing. It feels like forbidden information.
It feels like an empty Kmart, a little bit.
Yeah, it's like seeing a deer in a Kmart. One of us shouldn't be here, and I think it's me.
I would argue that neither of you should be here.
What's that YouTube channel called? Beyond the Boundary or something like that?
Boundary Break, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Boundary
for sure.
Break.
Yeah.
Shout out to Boundary Break.
We should hide something for Boundary Break to find.
We're gonna hide the big Chungus Caldwell gif.
Just like if you zoom in on the sun, it's my face.
Be like the Teletubbies, son.
Love that.
Wake up, everybody! It's time to wake up and dance. There are voice files hidden in the game, and you can find them.
Yeah. We could
The debug
have a
folder.
Caldwell Island. Every tile is just a JPEG of your face, Caldwell.
Just different colors.
Like that
and
Nick
shades.
Cage photo.
Tubbs, is this all your art, or all these pixels?
Yes.
Can I say
They
I
are.
love these beautiful autumn trees, like the orange trees. Mwah.
Thank you.
Chef's kiss on those trees, my friend.
Thank you for your Caldwell kiss.
God, I want to call a kiss. Maybe for my birthday.
Guess I owe you 18 of them, huh?
Yeah, you do.
Oh.
Sheesh.
Brownies over, guys.
That's disgusting. Actually,
I'll send them
we
with the
had
grapes.
joked about that. They're like, you're legal.
Just kiss the grapes and then send
Oh
those.
God, yes.
Yeah, I think that's probably smarter.
18
That's
grapes?
around.
Gyroscopic box.
Mhm.
Okay.
Just 18 grapes. I'll get you 2 egg cartons just full of grapes.
That'd be 24 grapes, but okay.
You have something to grow on, you know what?
You're good for
No,
6
you can't-
years.
You can't open them for another 6 years.
Yeah, that's called.
It's like
a
that
Caldwell's
Nathan
a
for You
dozen.
episode where they sell the alcohol. You know what I'm talking about? There you
These are
go.
future grapes.
You know that you can't have grapes until you're 26. It's government law.
Those are just the rules.
I'm sorry, man.
If you're in
Fight for your country, but you can't have these grapes.
You can fight with these grapes.
That makes the duck song a lot darker. It's a drug
Were
deal.
you,
It's a drug deal.
were you saying something else before this tangent, Caldwell?
I guess I would love to know what the like challenges from the art side have been, because that's kind of where I'm
So-
going into all this.
This was a huge learning curve for me.
Hmm.
So I hang on. So I first joined the project by posting this little image on the first, and so
Hmm.
that got me a spot. And
I saw that and I was like, hell yes, this dude's
And-
good.
was gonna be like I was thinking maybe I could be like a just concept art, and I just started doing concept art a little bit.
Mhm.
Started designing Wally a bit. I think I have the old model of him.
It seems like your first mistake was admitting you could draw.
Well, he did say the magic words, and so he was sold into indentured servitude.
And so I was with a bunch of other artists on the team. We were just arting away,
Mhm.
and the first artwork I think, or I eventually asked if I could do pixel art, and I had never really done pixel art before. And my first thing I made was these tavern tiles.
Well, that's what sold you. You asked if you could do pixel art, and then
Yeah.
that was it. You
I
have
did
not
these.
left my closet since.
They used to be a lot worse. They've been touched up a bit since I first made them, but the picture of the tavern is the first tile set I made, basically.
And
So you've
And
been,
from then
you've been learning pixel art like basically since the beginning of the project.
Yeah.
That's very impressive.
And so eventually I got to do the characters. Let's see if I can find any gifs.
and you did touch up some other pixel art from other people, right?
Yeah.
Because a big recurring problem throughout every single part of this game is people like it being a patchwork and smoothing out those seams, different art styles, different music styles, all that stuff.
I learned how to use
Yeah.
Ace Sprite,
God,
which is a
that's
really good
insane.
pixel art program. And so this was we didn't have really team leads yet, so we were also sort of going on our own, doing whatever we thought we needed to do, basically.
Mhm.
Until we made the team leads, and I was not originally the art lead. It was another man named Jas, who has since gone.
Mm.
But
Rest
he
in
was
peace.
sort of tasked with leading us, but it became a little much for him.
Yeah.
So I became the new art lead, and it was very tough figuring out how to like lead people. I'd never led anybody in like a creative thing, so it was very like daunting. I felt like sort of
It's sort
for
of
some reason I felt like I was limiting people's creativity even though I wasn't, because I was
Yeah.
I was telling them what to do.
Mhm.
So that was sort of a hurdle for me, but
like a boot camp
eventually
for
got-
everyone involved.
oh yeah, we had a little boot camp where I
Oh.
taught people how to do pixel art.
Oh yeah, we did have those. I meant it was more like for everyone who's put in a lead. It's almost like an actual boot camp for like learning to teach people, almost a trial by fire in a way.
Yeah.
But speaking of boot camps, yes, that was one thing we also did do. I never really attended one, so I can't speak to it. But
How dare you?
doing other stuff, I don't know.
I really miss those.
We should do them again.
Just
I
kind
mean,
of
if
like
you guys want, we don't really have any more artists to do them with.
Mhm. Was it just kind of like a learning intensive, like a weekend of like just buckling down and trying to learn something, or?
We did it like every Saturday. We just
Wow.
went off of like there's this really good person who made tutorials. I was someone who worked on the game Celeste.
Wow. Oh yeah.
He
Those are
did the
good.
pixel art.
Those are good
and
pieces.
he makes a lot of like tutorials, so we would go off of those.
Cool.
I didn't do much art wise, but like just playing around with Sprite and like learning how to do that stuff was really cool.
Yeah, and it seems like good to like, I guess, spread the knowledge around like that, so everyone like on other teams knows kind of what the other person is doing.
We've all had to learn Unity a bit, and I know
Yeah, I
you've done
didn't
a
know
lot,
how to use
Tubbs.
Unity before.
You know way more
Working
than
on
me
this.
now.
Wow.
Yeah, like it was just insane how quickly you picked it up. Same with
Yeah.
pixel art and stuff.
It helped a lot with like having existing code to look at and stuff to mess around with. But aside from like the pixel art, the concept art was also a lot to learn. Like becoming the art lead really pushed me to my like character design to like think more about character design. Like since I was in charge of it, I was doing a lot of research, and I wanted to make these characters really memorable and something.
It does put some pressure on you when you're put in a position like that.
Caldwell General Chat.
For listeners at home,
Welcome back, Caldwell.
Sorry.
our guest
trying to
just
click on
left.
I misclicked. I was trying to click on the SOGcast thread, and I clicked on the general chat. You know what? I'm blaming the Z-axis. It's clearly off. It needs to be recalibrated. So
We coded this server. I agree.
Bandit made it.
Bandit made the internet.
3D.
Yeah, I think that's user error, Bandit. That's not on you.
Yeah. I think, what were we talking about? Oh, like the pressure that being a lead puts on you and making a better product, I guess.
I wanted, and especially like developing a style for the game.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of just became my art style, basically, a little bit.
Yeah.
And also like coming up with like visual motifs and stuff. The one I really tried to make like the main visual motif of the game is like the little skull icon. It's like a oval with a little rectangle on the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look at it. Probably wasn't
I'm
in
just
the
looking
earlier
at the-
concept art. I mean, it's like the coin too.
Yeah, this little.
I know. I was looking at the art you did for like all the. I think these are like the side characters, and they're all very fun. Like great, really good silhouettes on these designs. So
Thank
like,
you.
You've really pushed them in a lot of fun ways.
Very recognizable.
Means a lot.
Yeah.
Iconic. Yeah.
You can make
Yes.
plushies of any of them.
The first character I designed for the game.
Ooh. Vivi,
Yeah, she's the first companion you get.
tell me everything.
So she's
Dad's dead.
what?
Her dad's dead.
Her dad is dead.
More. Tell me more.
Spoilers.
That was actually what sparked her character. Is me and the former writing lead Solemn Text were just in a voice call trying to figure out what this blacksmith character should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I just drew just like, what if blacksmith characters are usually just these burly dudes? What if it was just like a little cute girl?
And by comparison, we do have a burly dude who is very soft as well. And then there's that. True, there is that piece of concept.
So she's very happy-go-lucky, but she's not very keen on social cues.
Mm.
Same.
Makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
I like the, and it seems like she's like a bit of like a goth blacksmith too.
Yeah. I went for like a gothic feel.
Yeah.
And there's the skull on the hammer as well.
Mm. There it is. Motifs.
Motif.
Y'all,
McQueen.
you got late motifs in here, and I'm living for it. I see them.
And
I
heavy
feel them.
motifs.
Video games.
I don't know what else to add. Do you have any other questions?
I don't. I guess like
Speak now, forever hold
The
your
big
peace.
question would be, do you have a better idea of like when you think you'll finish the game, or when you would like to be finished, or are you kind of just okay with it being like a meandering project that is a journey?
Bandit.
That's a really good question.
Programming lead.
I actually did some calculations lately. Well, more of an estimation how long it would take, and well, if we work every day, pretty much non-stop, it's gonna take around 227 days. Which
So
not
just
bad.
do that.
Just do that.
We work like once a week, so it's gonna take that many weeks.
Yeah, I mean, in some, I think didn't you say something about stuff taking care of multiple, I don't know, categories of stuff we have to do? Was there something that would cut that down, or are we just doomed? Well, I mean, we'll have a demo, right? We have an actual full demo planned.
Ooh.
Which will be hopefully the main thing that drums up hype and everything. That's been the plan from the start, which is the entire first island. Mostly.
Wow, that's a chunky demo.
Barring some stuff that would be. It is a chunky demo. It's about one.
Of the island, at least.
Yeah, that's a little chunker. It's most of it. There's some spoilery stuff that we wouldn't include, but
I guess. Go ahead.
Are we going to reveal any of the additional partners here? We were talking about that, Grant.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, go for it if that's what the big man would like to hear.
Well, that at least gets us addressed story-wise, because I've been kind of silent through most of this, because I don't
Are we
know
done
anything about you.
recording at this point?
No, we are still recording, but if you would like to stop.
Well, I guess I would love. We haven't heard from the writing side. If there's any I would love to know if you've got just a little snack, a little morsel of information to share before we end the call. I would love to hear it from you.
To do so, but
yeah,
for the most part, the overall story is pretty much finalized. At least in terms of step one, go here, go here, go here, all the way to the end. We have that laid out. It's just the meat in the center is what we're working on now. But right after the first island that we got, that we've shown the most of, the forest on the Buccaneer Bay, we're moving on. Have we formally revealed what island is next yet? Does anyone know?
No.
I think we have now.
We have not.
So our second island is going to be the Wild Westerlies. It is a Wild West type island. And we're still working on a little bit of itty-bitty concept work on what that's going to look like exactly. We've thrown out some stuff, but overall it's going to be, if people know about The Hobbit, the lake town in The Hobbit, it's docks over the water. Like a majority of the town is over sand dunes and docks. With
a little bit of flapjack.
That's very fun.
Very flapjack. Yeah,
flapjack.
Flapjack in the desert.
Big mound too.
Wild Westerlies is just an A+ name, by the way. Just like Bravo on that front. So,
if you want to talk more about specifics, yeah.
Yeah, if we're talking about that, so Tubbs, do you have some art of Salvador laying around somewhere?
Salvador.
But our next character is Salvador on the Wild Westerlies. Our gimmick is we have our unique race of creatures. Our own little Gorons or Zoras, they're the Crabbits. They are a creation by our lovely Tubbs, who he found these little creatures that I'd never heard of, these frog crabs. What are they specifically called? Do you remember?
Tubbs is a little optimistic right now.
Renina, also known as the frog crab. I'm trying to find the reference sheet for the frog crabs.
Yeah. So
oh man, these things are cute.
We just decided to go with Crabbits because that seemed to flow the best. But
where is this?
They're the indigenous people to the Wild Westerlies, and
so they're little rock frogs.
Yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's so fun. Yeah. Oh man, this game is just bursting.
It is bursting.
And that's just a portion. We have so much more planned out, including with our side islands and stuff that we could probably address a little more freely. But
Should we include the kitty cat? I'll bleep out if you
Which
say
one?
no. The kitty cat,
we were gonna redesign him, weren't we?
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, I guess we had an enemy.
He was the original design of this character that we have. I believe we settled on the name Feral. We went back and forth on that quite a bit, trying to work out something. But he's basically he looked like he was straight out of Rango, as I made the jokes of. But he's a cowboy cat.
The one-word description of this character is Rango ass-looking cat.
Hyphens or?
No, it's one word.
One word. That's Rasta's job to decide this, and it is decided.
Rango ass motherfucker.
Great. Yeah. So that's a little taste in where you're going next after the beginning. Pretty cool. Pretty good
I'm
vibes.
trying to
Delicious. Oh, big mistake.
But going back to
Two whole
partners
JPEGs?
a little bit, at least on the story side of things, as we already mentioned, the Paper Mario aspects. I've been writing this with a very like Thousand Year Door approach, with sense of humor and
Very
scale
nice.
of what we're doing. It's
Mm-hmm.
like that was a game I played a lot as a kid, and that's definitely rubbing off on the dialogue we got placed out right now. Like everyone is like snarky and cracking jokes all the time, but is in the most timeless way possible. As we were joking about our dated memes. But Tubbs died.
Tubbs died too. Oh man, people are dropping left and right. Well, I did want to share one little baby thing that's like my favorite thing in this whole game. In the tavern in Buccaneer Bay, there's a cat, and he's enormous. I don't know if he's sitting down or laying down, but is he near a bowl of nuts? Or no?
I think it said like, "Do not feed this cat my nuts." Or
No, it
something.
says there's a sign above it. The cat's named Ale the cat, and the sign above it says, "Stop feeding me your nuts." Probably my favorite
Yes.
thing of all time. It's not the nuts joke. It's just the fact that this cat is just in a tormented cycle of gluttony, and I think it's my favorite part of this whole
Most
game.
of the people in that tavern are great. What's the name of the guy who's constantly drinking? I forget his name.
Oh God, the Guzzler.
The
Guzzler, yeah.
Guzzler.
He's basically cursed to be constantly drinking,
Yes.
and he's like in misery.
Are we gonna talk about Captain Neckbeard? Can we talk about Captain Neckbeard?
About Captain Neckbeard, and we should talk about Captain Rainbow Beard, or whatever we're gonna settle on. Rainbeard, something.
Wow.
I love the concept of both of them.
The beard.
But Captain Neckbeard is the most stereotypical character we probably have in the entire game.
I would imagine you could think up what he would look like.
I have an image forming in my mind.
Yeah.
Simple Google search could find the same results, but
Do we have the picture of him?
I'm sure somebody has it somewhere.
I'm sure
I'm
Tubbs
trying
does.
to find.
Tubbs is already on the case. Yeah.
Oh, I do. These the future the further crab drawings you did really solidify the like crab frog hybrid. It's really fun. Oh, those little like baby arms are so cute.
I have not looked at these two closely. What the hell is in the middle of that bottom picture with the beard? What was that?
Don't worry about it.
Just a little guy.
Neat little guy. Oh, I have
a little cone head thing.
I would like to say that the term "neat little guys" has become
Don't worry.
ingrained in my vocabulary. I have a folder filled with all of my music projects called "Neat Little Guys."
Oh,
It's got like 1,000 little guys.
everyone's got their neat little guys
Everyone does.
that bolster you and keep you going.
Looks like the
When
lead
all is
singer of
lost,
Smash
you'll
Mouth.
still have your neat little guys. Yeah.
Is that your neat little guy? Nobody? Is that your neat little guy?
Reach into your pocket. They're there. They're there if you need them.
I'm so starstruck right now. It's the most important thing of my entire life.
That guy's in my pocket right now.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a wish you didn't know you made. This looks like maybe the Yoshi of the game. This
You're
and like
riding on that thing now. Like he just
and it
looks disgusted the whole time.
Mhm. And unlike Yoshi, who can use his tongue to eat apples, this little man deer thing must just like use their hands and just like you're like snarf them up with their hands. It takes a long time. It's
So I guess now that this is falling apart, and there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
there's
there
our
he is.
guy.
I haven't seen him in forever.
Again, audio podcast, but
So
Okay.
he has a body pillow that depicts Captain Marmalade on it
Oh boy.
because she's the top celebrity of the sea. Have you seen her?
I have not. Is that? Oh, okay. So I'm looking at the picture now in this beautiful JoJo style of Captain Neckbeard.
yes.
I see that's his sword. I thought that his hat was a sword at first, but he's just holding his sword.
He's just holding his sword in a very dramatic way. Yes.
So does Captain Neckbeard have a sentient like body pillow guardian, or is that just for the flavor of this picture?
I really don't
He's
know.
insane. He's just
It
insane.
sort of comes to life.
Beautiful.
This is scope creep. This is entirely scope creep.
It's happening.
Look
Yeah,
at
don't
the
take.
date on that.
Oh god.
He goes to the tavern, but he brings his own like sake and stuff. He doesn't even order anything. He just sort of brings his own stuff.
He loiters.
Just
Yeah.
He
in
constantly
every
talks about
definition, he is that guy.
Yep.
recurring jokey character where he pops up in random places, like for various side quests
He
and
is-
stuff.
Mm.
He's
He's
ridiculous.
not to be messed with though.
He is not to be messed with. We
He
have
is not
we
to
have
be messed
plans.
with.
We have
He
plans.
will
Yeah,
go all out on you just this once.
He's menacing. The energy is menacing, I must say.
I'm glad you've had a chance to give feedback. I'm glad this is now Caldwell approved. Because I've been
absolutely.
fighting for this character the whole time. I think we need it.
Staying in.
I mean, my only advice is go with God. Follow the bliss you see in your own hearts.
Do you think God made this? You really think God made this?
I think God's hands are in all of this.
I think that's a good note to end this podcast on.
Certainly.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you to everyone else for lending their time to this.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah,
It's
thank you all
been
so
a
much.
huge honor.
If you have anything else to plug at the end that you haven't plugged already, anything specific you're working on?
No, just check out the podcast I do is really the only thing. Nadpod.com, patreon.com/nadpod. It's a good show, I think. Give it a listen if you like actual play shows.
What about
but
Thoughts
yeah,
on
that's
Art
it.
number 5? When are we getting Thoughts on Art number 5?
On what?
Thoughts on Art number 5? I need it. You know, you and your friend think about art for a fifth time.
2009.
You're Caldwell Tanner.
Absolutely not.
We have to know.
Nardwar. Nardwar.
All right. Coming soon, apparently. We have to know.
If you will, it shall be so.
And with that, SOGcast number 2 comes to a close. Goodbye, everybody. Sleep tight.
Goodbye.
Farewell.